In this week's video for RGB Adventures, we're going to discuss with you the all-important shakedown trip. A shakedown trip is what you do right after you pick your RV to really test it and work out all the kinks and understand what kind of gear, what kind of things do you need, how well does it run, does it go all the places you want to go, and how does it function in different weather conditions. As many of you know, we've been on the road about 4 months now, and unfortunately with COVID-19, a couple weeks ago things slowed to a grinding halt, and we headed back to our beach home here in Newport, Oregon. And so we're hunkering down right now, and I'm catching up on lots of videos. So when you're preparing for your shakedown trip, the first thing you want to think about is what is all the gear and living items and kitchenware that you need in your RV. And to put that list together and get all of those items, for us, I packed about 4 large rolling duffel bags that we could check in our check luggage. And as you know, we have a Winnebago Bolt and bought it from Lichtenstein that is in Forest City, Iowa. And we picked up our rig in January during winter. For us, it was important to go during winter time because we selected a 4-season camper van, and we love to ski, we love the snow, we love the cold temperatures. We also like the warm temperatures, and we like to hike and mountain bike and explore and kayak and hit the rivers and lakes. And so we wanted to hit all types of weather conditions. I would say we didn't really want all the weather conditions we got. We tested 10 inches of snow, ice, freezing rain, high winds, and a tornado watch. And so maybe that was a little too much for our first trip. We also went down gravel roads, rocky roads, sandy roads, almost got stuck. That's why a foldable shovel is very important gear to have with you. And so we won't have time to show the long list of gear items that I packed. So I suggest going to rgbadventures.com and reading my blog post there, and we've hyperlinked a lot of the items, so if you're interested you can purchase those. The next really important thing to think through is to be prepared, reading your manuals, looking at checklists, and we're going to step you through all of those in the rest of this video. So here we go.
So earlier I talked about planning your route. Google Maps is very helpful in doing this. The next thing I'd suggest is having a small Excel that you can utilize freecampsites.net, Campendium, the BLM, National Forest Service to find campgrounds, RV dump spots, gas stations, and giving yourself several different options. You'll want to go to rgbadventures.com, and on my blog, I've listed all the different gear that we packed and sent ahead of time or in our check luggage to prepare for our trip, so that you have all the things you need for the multiple weeks that you may be on your road trip. And then I would suggest reading all of your manuals and then putting together a list of questions that you have that are unclear. And that way the orientation, they can go over those questions with you. Changing Gears has a great RV checklist that you can use that really helps to make sure that every single thing is running and is included and is functioning while you're doing your orientation. And so I have to give big kudos to my mentee Rebecca, who took us at 3 a.m. to the airport as we flew from Bend, Oregon to Junction City to pick up our Winnebago Bolt. And when we got to Lichtenstein RV, It had recently snowed, and we had a lot of interesting weather ahead of us. Once we got there, we signed our paperwork and then jumped in our RV for the evening, and I unpacked our 4 large duffel bags and a few of our Amazon boxes, and we were ready to have our first dinner in our RV, yummy lentil soup in our Instapot and a glass of wine. And we even got to use our TV and watch a few shows that evening. The next morning, we had a 4-hour orientation. And so you need to be prepared. You're going to be pretty brain dead by the end. And so here are my suggestions to make sure that you do while you're going through your orientation. First, take lots of videos. We took videos on how everything worked and then saved them on our phone just in case we didn't have cell coverage and couldn't go to our iCloud or SkyDrive or Google Drive. Next, we didn't do this, but we suggest you do this, is make sure that in your outdoor shower and your indoor shower that the hot water is hot water. Unfortunately, during our trip, we had mini cold showers when we finally found out that our hot and cold were switched. Next, you want to do a detailed walkthrough on the outside of your vehicle. Yes, even on top of the roof to make sure that you don't have any dents, dings, paint missing, or leaves sealed into your roof, which happened to us. Next, if you're getting a Mercedes Sprinter, it comes with a toolkit, and that's underneath the passenger floor, and you'll want to make sure that you have all the tools. As you'll see, there is an empty wrench, and so we thought we were missing a tool when it didn't come with a wrench. Next, if you have a camper van, you may have one of these wonderful Rolf screens. Make sure that the screen is installed properly. We did not take the time to do this, and then when we got to Texas in sunny weather with flies, you can see there's a nice hole where we had flies flying in. So make sure that your screen is fully installed properly. Next, you'll want to try all of your drawers and make sure that they are smooth coming in and out. We had several that were a little stuck and needed to be realigned. If you have a Truma system, you will want to check underneath the dial to make sure that the proper screw was used. It's a tiny little flathead screw, and a lot of the times at the manufacturer, they'll drop it and then they'll just put another screw in, and if it's not a flathead screw, it will not click properly. That happened to us, and we needed Truma to send us a new screw. If you have a NovaCool refrigerator, as you will see, there's just 3/16 of an inch of thread that bolt sits into the refrigerator. If the hinges aren't put on properly and the bolt's not put in properly, your refrigerator door will come off. Ours did. So make sure that your fridge bolts are put in properly so that you don't have your fridge door coming off. Another important thing is to check underneath your beds. Your beds have these slats, nice wood bamboo slats and plastic holders, and when you get real bumpy, if they're not put in properly, they will pop out. We had a few pop out, and we also had our leg break. So you really want to make sure that it was welded well and that it's not going to break on you once you hit the road. Once again, if you have a Sprinter, you will also want to make sure for Winnebagos, they put for the bolt and the revel a lock on the ladder. And some people have not had their lock installed and the keys, so make sure that that is installed. At the end of this, you will be pretty burnt out and ready to hit the road and go. We highly suggest not going too far because you're going to be tired. So we went about 125 miles and camped for the night. And then we hit all types of weather conditions. And so we really wanted to test our 4 seasons, and we did. We went through snow, ice, freezing rain, high winds, tornado watch. Finally, we got some sunshine and we were able to test our rig in sand. Had to use that foldable shovel to dig us out a little, and then some 4x4 gravel rock roads. And so you really want to test your vehicle in all the different conditions. In the end, we finally got back to Bend and Bodie was happy to jump in and test out his new home. So next week, I'll tell you about the different spots we boondocked along the place and highlight some of the national parks. Thank you.